Well, here we are at AOG 2015 on the banks of the beautiful Swan River, and the Minister for Commerce, as well as the Attorney General of the West Australian Government, Mr. Michael Mischin, has kindly agreed to chat with us. Michael, welcome, and you just delivered the plenary address at AOG 2015 today.
That's right, and welcome to Perth.
Thank you very much. Some great insights then into what's happening in this wonderful state. And I noticed that you mentioned the LNG boom and the wonderful crescendo we're building to till 2017. But perhaps you can tell us about how have these LNG developments stimulated the local industry and local businesses?
Well, that of course is the main interest for Western Australia. It's one thing to produce and have the export of these commodities for the benefit of the rest of the world, but there has to be something in it for the Western Australian community. And the focus of the Western Australian government has always been towards maximising the benefit to our local businesses and to our local communities by the creation of jobs and wealth and opportunities. And that continues to be our challenge and the focus of at least my department's attention into the future. We're looking to be the world's major LNG exporter within the next several years, and we are certainly the centre of the liquefied natural gas and other petroleum export and production facilities in Australia. We have the great capacity to supply markets, particularly in China and Asia, and the growing demand there. And the projects such as Prelude with the offshore FLNG platform presents challenges for us to ensure that as much of the benefit of that sort of a project will come to Western Australians, either by way of royalties paid to the WA government or by way of the creation of job opportunities and employment opportunities. Of course, once these projects get through their construction phase, there's always the challenge then that the opportunities for the same sorts of jobs will decrease over time. I think the estimate is that for every 12 people necessary to establish a petroleum or natural gas project, you need only one to actually run it, with the occasional boost in employment or maintenance purposes from time to time. But that is also one of the challenges and one of the stresses on the WA economy and our job market over time.
Okay, so what could local industry do, and what maybe could the local authorities do to try and further stimulate and increase participation from a really successful platform?
Well, we have local participation frameworks to encourage those involved in the construction process and those who are extracting these resources to provide business opportunities to Western Australians, either in the construction phase or in the maintenance phase in due course. The challenge is to ensure that the maximum amount of work comes to Western Australians. Now, I understand that there are certain supply chains that are established, certain expertise cannot be obtained within the state, but that is where the challenges for government and for local industries arises. The ability to build up expertise, reliability, quality of work, and at an affordable price for the project managers, so that they are encouraged to not only set up the projects in WA but to continue operating them into the future and to rely on WA to provide the support for those projects over time.
You mentioned the Marine Corporation down at Henderson as one of the success stories of the current boom, but of course it didn't just happen overnight. It took a lot of effort to create that.
That's right. That was established 10 years ago, probably getting on to its 11th anniversary now. And it is at a site just south of the port of Fremantle called Henderson. It is a substantial facility. It took many years to get it going. It's generated an enormous amount of work and opportunities for WA businesses. What it essentially provides is a common use facility where companies that may be able to provide services and construction work to the various resource projects, not just petroleum and natural gas, but also to the mining industry in our northwest. Instead of having to construct the infrastructure to be able to provide the product, they can borrow the infrastructure that has already been established by the WA government. And something like 373 projects have been completed there over the last 10 years, generating something in the order of, I think, 27,000 jobs, or supporting some 27,000 jobs over that time. Once again, the sort of work that goes through there fluctuates with the demand from industry, but that has been a terrific asset to help local businesses achieve their potential and to provide the services that the resource industry requires.
Yeah. Of course, flagging commodity prices has affected a lot of businesses today. Some companies are doing it tough, and the challenge is certainly now and in the future. What message would you send to government and to industry, and what do you think is the biggest challenge moving forward to continue, the benefits that have flowed to the state?
Look, the resource prices will always fluctuate. We've had that experience in the iron ore industry recently, where prices have dropped to a significantly low amount, and that has not been healthy and undesirable. Oil and natural gas are going through a similar thing. The key to it is to plan for the future and to look at the long term, and I think that these industries do that. There is bound to be an increasing demand for energy, for example, in Asia, particularly in China, which is still a growing economy and will eventually transition out of coal to more effective means of generating energy. We have to be positioned to provide those resources at an affordable price and in a reliable way. And so I think the big picture is still a rosy one. There will always be fluctuations from time to time. The key to it is to maintain optimism, and rather than to think that the world is going to collapse and that we're not going to need the resources that we currently need. There will be always fluctuations in the market. I'm still very confident that Western Australia can provide the world's needs in that regard for the benefit not only of the world but also our local economy and our local people.
Fantastic. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mischin.
Thank you
for joining us.